Oh, hey, there we go.
Do you see it again?
I see on my, it's the first time on my phone that it actually says live on Facebook. So, as far as I know, we are live right now.
Yeah, we are, but people have said that we are not there anymore. So everybody left. There's 8 people back. Um, I I guess
Oh,
we're live. I don't know
oh,
how much of that story. I don't know how much.
oh, now I got the chat. Good. I got the chat. Beth, good. Beth just said we're back. Okay,
All right, we're back. Um, hey
good.
Beth. Hey Beth, how much of that story about Eric's dad did you get? Could you text us and let us know? Because maybe he wants to start that over again. It's
I
a
don't have.
pretty interesting story.
Oh, there goes my phone. Oh, there we go. Come on. All right. Um, Well, before I get back to that story, I'll just say that earlier today, when I was on the phone with my, thank you, John. All right, good. George Rossi joining. All right, looks like we're back in business. All right, now I'm seeing chat. Very good. Um, so earlier today, when I talked with my parents, um, uh, they said, who's gonna be accompanying Nancy? I said, this is not a Nancy
What are you talking
Kelly.
about when I played at Blue Note?
No, they thought tonight's show was going to go.
Oh, I know. That's a sad. Wait a minute. That's the big sad because while I am a pianist, I just don't really accompany myself that well. I mean, I always I mean, I could just sing, but I don't want to do that. Do I want to do that? I don't think so.
Well, if you don't want to do it, then I could do it right here.
Oh, God help us. God help us all. Oh,
By the way,
my.
you know what? Now that we do have our audience back, 25 right now. Do you mind? Can we just do a toast?
Yes. Here's to
To
you. I'm always ready for that.
Here's a virtual toast to
We're
everyone out.
trying, folks. We're trying. I mean, I don't know.
Well, listen, these are trying times, and you know what? To everyone out there, be well, be safe, and thanks for joining us on this maiden voyage of Time Out with Miss Kelly and I.
So
But
go back and tell more. I want to hear more about that story about your dad and the people he played with because I think a lot of people missed it.
well, again, my dad got a chance to play with the great Frank Sinatra towards the let's say towards the end of his career. I mean, Frank was performing into the '90s really, but my dad was with him when Frank was still really at the top of his game. Late '70s, early '80s. Did a concert here in Syracuse at the War Memorial, um, and you know
You mean
he
the whole Great Big War Memorial? Who'd you do the concert with? That's very unusual for jazz people. I have this conversation with a friend of mine
who,
often. We just,
who is the band?
yeah, what was, yeah.
I don't that I'd have to I wish I could text him right now, but he doesn't. My dad is not up. He's not in the 21st century, so I
Well,
don't.
it appears I barely am. I mean, I made such a mess of this.
I don't know. I
I
don't.
tried.
I don't remember who the full band was. I'll just leave it at this, and then we can segue into another topic. But and we want to hear what people want to talk about. Ask us questions. Anything you've ever wanted to know about Nancy and I. Now's your chance.
No,
Uh,
not everything.
but no, not everything. But uh, where was I? And now I just lost track. Oh, my dad played me a recording. I shouldn't say this, but I think it was a bootleg recording from somewhere in like Westchester County. And my dad had played a great solo on a song which escapes me right now. And you hear Frank at the end of the song. Well, see, Frank was known for always acknowledging the guys and the band, and to hear Frank on this, the audio quality wasn't great, but you hear Frank say, "Ray Cohen, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ray Cohen." And I mean, just to hear my dad's name uttered from the mouth of royalty like Sinatra, I mean, that was pretty cool. He played that for me like, I don't know, 20 years ago. And look, it never gets old when I tell people about my dad and his affiliation with Frank and Vic Damone. For people who look, Vic didn't garner the notoriety that Frank did. But for people who are not familiar with Vic Damone, unbelievable talent. And
I love it. I loved him. He was one of those crooners that did not annoy me.
no, I mean, matinee. He had these matinee good looks, and Vic went
Like you, Eric, a lot like you.
Let's please. This is why I have a face for radio. People are not used to seeing me in front of a camera. No, Vic and my dad really hit it off, and actually, my dad played Vic's farewell concert in Florida, and sadly, we lost Vic a couple of years ago. I believe at the age of 89. But again, there's so many great singers in that same ilk as Sinatra that never got the
You know who I worked with a guy down in Atlantic City that I thought was tremendous, and Jack Jones.
Oh, the Love Boat.
Jack.
I mean, Jack Jones,
Wait a minute, my girlfriend Scott watches the Love Boat for giggles. Guess Jack Jones used to come in when I worked down in Atlantic City at I find it hard to utter the words, but I will. Oh dear. Trump Plaza. In fact, I opened Trump Plaza in Atlantic City, and they had a jazz lounge there. I was there on and off. That's how I met all the guys that I work with now, like John DiMartino. Everybody from New York and Philly was down working in those hotels as we were making a ton of money. But anyway, Jack Jones was playing in the showroom, and he used to come out and sit in my lounge, and we'd talk. He'd say, geez, I wish I could do what you did, because he loved jazz. He said if he ever really started, riffing around, he'd lose his career, which is, there's people in my life who don't know why I don't sing country music, so I could make money.
Yeah, you got to break out that cowboy hat sometime and
Ain't gonna happen.
do a little Loretta Lynn. By the way, I must say thank you, Cynthia Lewis Johnson, who not only said she loves Vic Damone, but she said it's a great face, Eric. Now, again, I don't know if maybe she's been drinking, but I'm
speak. All right, let me catch up.
I'm gonna say cheers. Yep. But anyway, thank you for your kind words, Cynthia. And Donna Pacini.
Donna Pacini is one of my vocal students. And she is a wonderful singer. She came to me as a wonderful singer, and she's, of course, listened to some of the things I have shared with her and really gone forward. I'm hoping to get her. That's not wine, Eric. I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's water. Hey, what's up, Mark Nanny? How you doing, brother? No, the wine. I don't want to get a little. I can get loopy easily, and people don't want that. So
it's because you got to be a pro, man. You gotta go pro. I'm pro.
What's that song? Hang on, Loopy.
No, please, Eric.
I know. I know that's not the song. So continue on. Did I interrupt your Donna Pacini story?
Oh yeah, Donna. So Donna's a great singer. She's also a wonderful person, and she had an interesting life. She's retired now, but she was an airline stewardess for. Well, it was first U.S. Air and then American, right, Donna? Am I right? Is she still on there?
Yeah, she's on. Wow, 34 people right now, and that's exceeded my expectations. Donna, let us know what airline it was, if you can. But I always thought it would be fun if Donna went into the panini business. She could call it Pacini Panini. Wouldn't you go to a place called Pacini Panini? I would.
Well, now during the quarantine, no. But
yeah, well, that's true. I mean, right now, if you want to get a panini, you're gonna have to get it to go. So
you know what? William Gorman's on here. Do you know who William Gorman is?
Do I know who? I have no idea. Never heard of the kid in my life. No.
Don't say that. Say yes. Of course, I know who he is.
Can I just tell you something? Will Gorman was the last person I saw live before everything got shut down. I got to see him do an unbelievable set out at the Green Gate in Camillus as part of the Jazz and the Burbs series that my good friend David Casper runs. And little did I know that that night, March the 12th, was the last night of live music that that I saw. And ever since then, it's been watching people on Facebook. I know Mark is in the chat room. Mark Nanny's done an unbelievable job now doing all these concerts. He's got his own show coming up right after ours tonight, where he does the music of the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia. Dead Night. Check that out on Mark's night at 8 o'clock. He's been giving us some good plugs, Nance. So I got to return the favor and give his show a plug. Did you see that Donna said American?
See that? See that? I was right. I do have some memory cells left. It's good.
And Andy joined us as well. Andy Calabrese.
Where are you seeing that? Because I don't see that.
Well, let's see. Andy joined us. Mr. Dave. Oh, Dave Hanlon. Great to see you, Eric and Nancy. Jeff Stockham. I hate to admit. Jeff Stockham says I hate to admit this, but I've never really cared for Nancy as a singer. What are you saying, Jeff?
He just wants his money back.
Jeff Stockham says, "Hey guys, miss you both." Trump 2020. What? No, that's sorry.
No, he didn't say that.
We won't go there with Jeff. We're not gonna. The only mention of that name.
Oh, you made that up, Eric Cohen? Wait till I see you. Poor Jeff.
Why would I? Come on, Donna from Buffalo. There's also a band, Donna the Buffalo.
So Donna from Buffalo. So that Donna and
Not
that's
Donna.
a different Donna. Donna and I go way back from my years of playing with Bobby Militello at the Bistro in Buffalo. I was there for many, many years. Made that drive to Buffalo. So we became good friends. She's actually related, I think, to Bobby Militello.
Well, and Bobby Militello, in a way, is connected to the title of this program, because Bobby Militello got the good fortune of playing, recording, and touring with the great Dave Brubeck. And
30 years.
30 years. And
30 years.
30 years. And for you jazz fans who are watching this, you might think, wait a minute, Time Out, doesn't that have a jazz connection? Well, yes, Time Out was the landmark album that the Dave Brubeck Quartet did that featured a little ditty called Take Five. And every song, I mean, Take Five is the most well-known song on that recording, but if you want to enjoy just jazz at its finest, just go and of course there's so many platforms now. Listen to Time Out, the Brubeck album, start to finish, and I promise you will enjoy that Time Out as much as you're hopefully enjoying this Time Out. Another friend of yours just says hello, Nance.
Oh.
Sharon Brooks.
Oh, Sharon and I go way back. We have a
Oh, way back with a lot of people, Nance.
well, yeah, because I've been way around a long time. Yeah. So as some people know, I live in a little resort town called Fairhaven.
Yeah.
I've been here for many, many years. I live, this house that I'm in used to be our camp. So we're originally Rochester people. And when Mom and Dad retired, we bought this little house. And then now I own it and live in it. But all the years. So we have a really famous bar here called the Little Sodas Inn.
Oh, yes.
You
Never
actually, yeah.
been.
Now we have six venues of music in Fairhaven, New York. Unbelievable. Yep.
Wow. That's
They even have me once in a while.
once in a while, really? Come on.
Well, I play too many chords, man.
You're the queen of Fairhaven. By the way, here's Will Gorman saying, "Get this man back on the radio. Nance, tell us about your time with Mark and the new record."
All right, well, where do I start? I mean, time with Mark. Oh, wait, all right, so wait, I've had to finish my story. So Sharon and I were,
Yes,
there was this whole group of really great people. Most of them were attending the college in Oswego, and they were all just super people. Sharon was one of our crowd, and so it's nice to see Sharon. We go back and forth on Facebook from time to time. So also actually the way that I met Mark Murphy. How did I meet? I met Mark Murphy. Joey Santoro, who just passed away not too long ago, great jazz pianist, is the one who introduced me to Mark Murphy, and we went to Buffalo to see Mark. And over the years, several years, I'd go see Mark everywhere, and then I realized he actually had a summer home. His family had a summer home in Fairhaven, so we met that way. And as you know, he passed away. So when he passed away, I was compelled to do this record, which, if I can brag, it was Jazz Is touted it as one
Oh,
of the
please,
top 20 jazz records of 2019.
you can brag. And for those people who are with us right now, who shame on you if you have not heard this recording, because it is. I mean, it is such a wonderful tribute to one of the greatest vocalists of all time. And I know that you're not the only one that holds Mark in that pantheon of vocalists who just had such range, and he was one of a kind. And you knew him on a personal level. I mean, talk about somebody you go way back with. And of course, Mark has roots in this area from Fulton, but he
was born in Fulton, but I think where he got discovered, we got discovered by Sammy Davis in a little jazz club in Syracuse, because Mark went to SU.
Now you mention that name, and now I'm gonna have the Candyman in my head.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Who
We talk about selling out, man. Remember, that made him some money. You dig?
By the way, thank you. Donna Piccini said, Eric, never heard you before. You and Nancy are awesome together. Well, Donna, thank you so much.
That's why we did it.
You know, we have multiple Donnas in this room, too.
They're all good ones. The reason we did this was because Eric and I have been friends for, I don't know, 20, how many years? You tell me before I make a mistake. Many years.
We were, I would say we've been friends for 15, enemies for 10. No, that's not true. We hit it off from the first time we met, probably, I guess, would have been right after I graduated, I think.
Yeah.
It was 19.
You're originally from New York, right? Or Long Island? Long Island?
Yes, down on Nassau County, Long Island. Little place called Manhasset Hills, New Hyde Park area. Would love some, and maybe there's some Long Island love in the room right now. Who knows? But yeah, I guess we first got to know one another, I want to say maybe 1993. So, I mean, it's approaching 30 years.
Long time. So the thing is, over the years, I mean, how do I say, the jazz community, no matter whether we're talking about Syracuse or Buffalo or New York or the United States, the jazz community is a small community. And we all kind of know each other, and Eric and I kind of became friends, and we spend many a night talking on the phone, like talking about the business, talking about, my career, talking about his career, and we've just been good friends for a long time. One night I go, well, we should just start a podcast. And of course, then when this whole quarantine thing happened and everybody's doing live, I said, well, let's just go live. So this is just, I mean, I will learn. Those of you that know me know I can brag about being pretty computer literate, but there's probably some things wrong here which we will fix. For one, I can't see the feed of who is on here. Are you seeing that somewhere, Eric?
I'm seeing it on my computer, and I'm going to just say right now, Steve DePra.
He wants to hear you sing. All right, go ahead.
Steve, we got 31 people here right now. If I start singing for real, that number's going to go down to 0 real quick. So sorry, Steve, not going to happen. Betsy Naselli missing the jazz programming on WAER. Nice to see us both. And then another friend who you probably go way back with, Gail Gutfrucht. I gotta make sure I don't say that the wrong way.
Interesting pronunciation. I think I'd rehearse that one first, Eric.
I'll say Gail. Hi, Gail. I will not. We don't want to get kicked off Facebook. But she says hi, Nancy. So she obviously knows you. And
Oh, I'm sure I do. Gail,
um,
we all pass each other's ways all the time. Look what Donna said.
I see.
Donna made a really interesting comment here. I saw Nancy in Syracuse with Mark Murphy
Wow.
when we sang together.
Oh, now I really feel bad. Yeah,
Where
that's
were
definitely.
you, Eric? I guess this is the big question. Where were you when that happened?
I don't know if I was I even in Syracuse yet? Could this have been
Okay,
pre
Donna. How many years ago was that, Donna?
have been pre
Oh,
EC?
how many? Ah, 45 years ago.
Um, so Gail, I realize is family to you. So I should not have.
Oh, I didn't recognize the last name.
Uh,
Okay, sorry.
Neither did I.
My
I
my
shouldn't have.
bad. Oh yes, I see now with the picture. Yes, she is my cousin.
I should
Indeed.
not have. Gail, I apologize for trying to pronounce your last name and almost.
She's gonna write it out phonetically for you, so you'll be all set.
Look who just joined us.
Oh,
Whoa,
Carmi,
Carmen Bradford.
that's my girl.
Oh man, I loved when I got to hear Carmen sing live here in Syracuse on multiple
We
occasions.
should have Carmen on. Carmen should come on next show we do.
Oh yeah, no, we want to let people know that this show we'd love to have guests joining us, and that is our intention in the weeks to come. But we just wanted to make sure that you and I got on today, and but we promise that we're going to try to arrange for some guests to uh, join us via Zoom through.
Yeah, if you're on Zoom, you can actually join the conversation, which we're going to try and see have some people on. Today is just a trial run, to be perfectly
Now,
honest. We wanted to see if we could even get it to work.
Christine Hall Miller wants to hear the two of us sing, but I think
Christine, you're so sweet. Now she's also my cousin. Wow, it's like a family thing. Christine, Eric, you don't want to hear Eric sing.
you know I don't want to hear what's I don't want to hear
We don't
what.
want to hear Eric sing.
Oh, listen, I mean, this microphone is just for show, folks. It's just for show. Oh, and by the way, in case people are wondering,
Oh, here we go. Get ready, folks.
I do sort of have like a faux background. I don't know if people can see this. This is
Oh my God, how long ago was that? Look at how
25
cute you are.
this
How
is
many
from
years?
2009. And then I also have this for show in the background. This was thank you for jazzing up Syracuse. Eric Cohen, WAER. This was our friend Frank Malfitano who presented this to me at the Jazz Fest that had Ramsey Lewis and the Rebirth Brass Band and Todd Rundgren. So, I mean, I had to have some sort of a background going here.
Better than your kitchen sink. Yeah.
Although, again, I mean, I could go to a virtual. I could go to a virtual
Oh
background right
boy.
now, Nance.
Do you?
I mean, I got a little jazz background going there. Now we won't go. A little Syracuse background, little bridge background, and but now we're back to the regular kitchen background. Your background is so much. I mean,
It's just my house. It's just my little camp. My wall of fame back there. The key to Oswego is on the wall. That's probably the biggest thing that's happened to me in my whole career.
you have a wall of fame. I have, I just have walls really. I never chose to hang stuff up in my apartment, but
You don't have to. You're a guy. You can do what you like. Somebody just said, Cynthia just said how much we miss Jazz Fest. How do you feel about that?
you know, I mean, I've known Frank for pretty much as long as I've known you, and I got the good fortune of being a part of just about every Jazz Fest going back to 1993. Now, I wasn't in Syracuse for the first, I guess, probably the first 7 or 8 Jazz Fest. But even when I was here as a student at Syracuse, I know that Jazz Fest was the biggest event of the summer. And from being a part of Jazz Fest as an MC, to being as a fan sitting in the audience. I'll never forget watching Aretha
Oh
do her.
man, I was. I'm always lucky enough. Frank's always very cordial to me and lets me come backstage. And I stood just watching Aretha ascend on the stairs, and
Oh,
I lost it.
it was
I
royal.
just completely lost it. She's a goddess to me. I spent my whole 13th year of life in the basement of my house trying to sound like Aretha Franklin. But it never happened. Anybody that studied voice with me knows how that story ends.
There truly is one Aretha, and I'll tell you what, people in Syracuse were lucky enough to see her on two occasions. But she was here for the 25th anniversary of Jazz Fest, and then she came back again.
I saw her on the last one. In fact, a lot of our friends were on the stage with her. Andy Calabrese was playing piano, and I think Stockham was up there with her too. There was a bunch of guys.
I think it was there, Corello and Jeff, and I know that was a big moment for them. But going back to your question, I mean, look, 35 years, and yeah, look, it's hard to fathom that we have not had a Jazz Fest since 2017. In fact, it's funny you asked. I still have the. This is actually the poster from.
Oh, look. That's the one we did with
Well,
for Mark.
this was actually if I
Is that the one we did for Mark? What is that one?
this was the next. This
My
was the
little
one,
face on there somewhere.
if people can't see this, All Star Jazz Fest tribute to Mark Murphy. Joe Corello, Ronnie Lee, New York Voices, Jay and Marty Ashby, and who is that? Yes, Nancy Kelly. There she is.
Oh boy. But that was a big night for me because I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of Michael McDonald. And I got to meet him backstage, and that was like, you know,
But again, Jazz Fest,
fan moment.
we all have different memories of Jazz Fest. 35 years of memories of Jazz Fest, whether it was Dave Brubeck, whether it was Michael McDonald, whether it was
I remembered the food.
well, the food too, absolutely. But the thing about Jazz Fest that was as much as anything is that it brought everybody together. You know, I mean, it brought the whole community together, and obviously right now we're living in a time where, and I know we weren't going to dwell on this too much, but like right now, in terms of festivals, there's a lot of festivals that are not going to be happening this summer. I mean, look, Syracuse.
I just talked with Joe Cortini, who is the producer of the Fulton Jazz Fest. I talked to him this morning, texted him, and he says they're going to try to go ahead in August.
Well,
Let's hope we get out of this enough to even enjoy some of those situations.
I feel bad that the Blues Festival, the New York State Blues Fest, was canceled, but that's coming up in June.
Yeah, that's an early one. Yeah.
You know, I think for festivals in July and August and September, one of my favorite events that I get to do is the Seafood Music Festival that they host out at the Sherwood Inn in Skinny Atlas. Joe Whiting.
Yeah, I played that once, I think.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. But it is tough right now to imagine a summer where we can't gather at any type of festival, whether it's a music festival, whether it's a food festival. You like food festivals, right?
I like food fests, period.
Well, you like to cook too. We should.
My poor Dino Lucido, who works with me quite often. He's learned when we're on break and it's time to eat. He's learned to hide because I come after him. I go, wait a minute, can I taste that? He's like, oh man, here she comes. Oh boy.
By the way, there was a comment I wanted to. I don't know if you saw this. Donna Militello Calandra said that she met Houston Person with you at the UB Center of the Arts, and he played Body and Soul for her in the dressing room. How about that? A private performance from Houston. I know you adore.
Want to know here how I met Houston? This is a great story.
Please.
These are great stories, man. I knew this would happen when we started talking. I was performing at the Jazz Fest, which I have done 25 times maybe. Frank and I have been tight for years and years, and he's always supported me and supported my music. And God, I played there with so many great guys. But I'll never forget it. I started my set. This is when it was downtown in Clinton Square, which we all loved. I mean, we all admit that we loved that. But I think we outgrew that space. I think that the festival needed a bigger space. There's no question about it. No question. But anyway, I was singing, and the cutest thing, I looked down, and here I see Houston. Of course, I knew who Houston was. He's a legend. He was there with probably one of my favorite jazz singers of all time, Etta Jones.
Yeah, I knew you were going there. Yeah.
One of my favorites of all time. People say, who do you like? Etta Jones. Not Etta James, Etta Jones. So anyway, I look and here's Houston's cute face coming around the speaker looking like, who's that singing, man? Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's some singing. And then we met, and the rest is history. And then we've done some recordings and many, many wonderful gigs. He's been at Birdland with me many, many times. We're still dear friends. And he's just past 80, I think, now. Still playing and work. Of course, none of us are playing right now, but
I mean, I got as many Houston Person records when I was music director at WAER as just about any artist. I mean, Houston would record. Of course, he and Etta, we had a ton of recordings of him and Etta. But in terms of solo recordings, I mean, Houston would be in that studio every year and still is putting out recordings. And I could put on a Houston Person record, and if I didn't know that it said, well, look, I mean, I opened it up, it says Houston Person on the CD. But if I didn't even know that, Houston has such a distinct sound that I just would be able to, and again, this takes 25 years of listening to jazz recordings, that you get an ear for certain things. And I just knew that Houston Person sound, he just had such a, and I say, I'm talking about him in the past tense, he still has such a wonderful, wonderful tone. And
that's very era specific, just like a lot of the things that so many of us do. It's very era specific. But Houston, he's not a bebop guy. He is a storyteller. He is a from the heart storyteller, which is what turns me on. I have no use for a million notes, none.
No.
But
no,
get me with one or two notes, and I'm in love. And that's where I come from. That's the way I work. But
well, I'm gonna throw a question out to you. And you know what? And Will Gorman just said he's still out here burning.
He is, and he is. I know, Will.
I'm going to throw this question out to you, and you know what? I want people in the chat to answer as well. Do you remember the very first concert you attended?
Oh, I was the Beatles.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
They were.
I wish I could put a picture up. I wish I knew how to do that.
They were pretty good.
I went to Toronto and saw the Beatles.
You saw
it was awful. It was just flipping awful. It was just loud and screaming, teenagers. It was terrible. But, like every other good 13, or I was maybe 16, 14, I don't even know. I was madly in love with Paul McCartney, but I quickly outgrew all that. But, yeah, the Beatles. And then after that, I mean, I saw the Stones. Now that's a rock band, and the Stones. And I'm also a huge fan of Led Zeppelin. Did you know I liked all that stuff?
Wait a second. No.
Yes, I love it. Those guys are so swinging, man. Forget about it.
I never, ever have heard the words Led and Zeppelin come out of your mouth.
You mean in the same sentence, right?
Same sentence. Although, yeah, I mean, I've heard lead, but never. Man, I would love to hear you do like Whole Lot of Love in one of your sets. Channel your inner Robert Plant.
You know what I used to do on stage, now that I think about it? Who did this? Been a long time since a rock and roll. Who did that?
I believe that isn't that
That's
Zeppelin?
Led Zeppelin, I think.
We, we do have Cynthia Lewis Johnson chiming in. The Jackson Five.
Yeah, well, I mean, who there's no denying that Michael was very charismatic and extremely talented. And I mean, God bless Quincy Jones. I mean, what can we say? It's a sad, sad, sad thing would happen to that young man. Sad, sad thing. The whole thing is just. But the Jackson Five were formidable. They did a thing. They cut out a whole niche in the music business. I was never really into the Jackson Five. However, I was into Michael at some point. I remember when that Thriller record came out. I really dug that. I really did.
I'll tell you right now. I want to clear up a misconception right now, and
Uh-oh.
I've been waiting a long time to do this.
Uh-oh. What is it?
No. This is just relax, relax. But people who heard me as the jazz guy for 20 some odd years, a lot of people would just think that they just assumed that I listened to jazz all the time. Like when I left the radio station, I had jazz on in the car. I had jazz on when I got home. And I would tell people, look, I will always be a jazz lover, but I would actually want to escape from jazz. So for people who think that, is Eric just a jazz guy and nothing else? I want to let people know that is far from the truth. I am a fan of all really different styles of music, but for people who don't know, and a lot of people might not know this, I am a huge 80s music guy. Love the music of the 80s. And my
Wait a minute. How I can't ask you how. I don't even know how old you are. It doesn't matter. I think you're the same age as my daughter.
Oh no! Listen, I'll give out my age. There's certain things I will not say publicly on this show. But and Cynthia Lewis Johnson wants to know my first concert, and I'm going to say right now, and I might get a lot of people that laugh at me on this, but
Why?
it was a Hall and Oates concert, Daryl Hall and John Oates
Well, that's wonderful.
on Long Island at Jones Beach. It was fantastic. But my favorite concert of all time that I attended.
Yes, the favorite. Yeah. No, what was your first?
Well,
All right.
my first was Hall and Oates, but the best concert experience that I ever had, believe it or not, was probably the last concert I ever saw, and that was when Paul McCartney played the Carrier Dome a few years ago, and I had never seen McCartney. I never thought I'd get a chance to see him.
Did you know that he grew up with standards in his home and he's a big fan of the American Songbook? Did you know that? Do you know that's why things like Till There Was You and there was some his writing was so from the study of American Songbook.
Oh, I believe it, and that's probably why you know that McCartney did a jazz record. You've heard that record, right?
Well, yeah.
No? Okay,
Yeah.
well, all right. Well,
But somehow there was something in there that got missed, and I wanted to speak on it. Um,
well, we're talking about
Steve DePross says Daryl Hall is a really good singer.
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great musicians.
Jonathan Knapp knows about. There you go, Jones Beach, great place, great band. So many great concerts at Jones Beach. Have you ever been, Nance, to Jones Beach on Long Island?
I haven't, no. I've been to Long Island many times, but I haven't attended anything like that. No, I don't know if I've been to Jones Beach. I don't know. I used to live in Brooklyn, but
Brooklyn, huh?
I used to live in Brooklyn, man. We used to go and play concerts out on Long Island.
Yeah, well, Jones Beach, great
Yeah.
atmosphere and a lot of great shows. But listen, we've been fortunate here in Syracuse to have some great concerts here over the years. Not just people who've come to play festivals, but people who've played at I don't know, the Landmark Theater, the Palace Theater. Of course, now you have the amphitheater. Although we don't know exactly.
I've never been there. No, you would have to pay me. If someone said, "Do you want to go?" my answer would be, "What does it pay?" Like I would to be in that big of a setting with that many people. I just don't. I like to hear music in intimate settings, and that's just me. I do.
No, I'm with you. No, I'm with you. There is something about hearing music in in that type of a setting that is very appealing to me.
But it's all fun, it becomes this whole tribal community, like, yeah, like, it's a thing, I
So,
understand it, but I'm introvert, so I don't want to be there.
but Joe Cortini, I guess, agrees with you on the McCartney front. It's not pretty when non-jazzers do jazz albums.
Well, Joe, you picked up what I was throwing down there, I guess. It isn't, because jazz is not something you plug into. You don't, oh, I'm going to do a jazz tune. That does not make you a jazz player. It is a life that you live. It's a long life of a lot of study, and it takes a lifetime. And you just don't come around, and that has nothing to say about his talent and ability. I mean, one of the great songwriters of all time, but you don't plug into jazz. You just
I mean,
don't.
Rod Stewart tried to do. He did like a bunch.
Oh, yeah. But probably some record executive thought it was going to make him some money. I'm quite
Did,
sure. And it
did
did.
did you know Michael Bolton even tried a jazz record?
Thank God I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, Bolton sings Sinatra. People can Google it. I'm not kidding.
Oh, dear.
By the way, if you get a chance, if you can see the chat, take a look at Jeff Stockham's first
Yeah, look
concert.
at what Jeff says here. His first concert was with Louis
Wow.
Bell's big band. Wait, I'm not seeing this feed very well here with the comments. I wish I did. I'm going to figure that out for next time.
Wait, why am I showing up on It's weird. On Facebook, you're showing up in full screen. I'm only showing up like.
Because you're using your iPhone, which I directed you to do, because the video is much better than your
That's
laptop.
That's true. By the way, Nancy, are you aware that it is 8 minutes before 8 o'clock? I mean,
Well, you and I have this. It's like 2 hours later, we go, oh my God. So maybe we'll cut this off at 8 o'clock and ask people if they'd like to see us again. And we would come on and maybe, have a few guests on next time.
people need to know that what you are hearing right now between Nancy and I, as Nancy polished off her third glass, no, first glass.
I have not left, and this was only one glass, which is just enough for me tonight.
But for people who are getting a chance to eavesdrop in on, well, at least I hope you've never eavesdropped in on a conversation between Nancy and I before, because that would be sort of illegal. But this is us. This is
This is
Nancy.
what we do. Yeah.
And this was the way we were when we did an interview on the radio. This is the way we are when we see each other at a gig. And this is the way we are when we just have a conversation sometimes at very late hours of the night, because you and I are both
night owls. It's not uncommon for us to be talking at midnight. Not uncommon at all.
No, it definitely is not. But again, this is what we are. And
Beth Ann Dice says we should do it every Sunday night.
Beth Ann says, make this your only show, please. We've had enough. No, she says every Sunday night. Deborah Ford would love to see you guys again. Donna Pacini, keep this going. Joe Cortini, when are we going to do this again? I'll tell you what. Dave Silverman, listening to you guys.
We're not going to do it next week, though, because I think it's Mother's Day next Sunday. Am I right or wrong? Anybody?
Next Sunday is Mother's Day. You think we should skip Mother's Day?
Well, nobody's really being with their family. I mean, the ones that are obeying the rules.
I think I would like to do a show for Mother's Day. And I also, you know what else I really want to know? I really want to know what Joe Cortini cooked for dinner.
Yeah, could you tell us, Beth? We'd like to know.
Because between the two of us,
he's a foodie like me. But
there's one very good cook on this program, and it's not me. I'll tell you that.
It's funny. This quarantine thing, I'm off my game. And I was talking about it on Facebook the other day.
I'm always off the game.
Well, it's okay, Eric. Come on. You got enough going on. You don't need to be a foodie as well. But I find it difficult not being able to go to the store when I want to make something. I buy all this food, and then I'm faced with cooking something I don't necessarily want, but I have to eat it because it's in the fridge. I had posted about that the other day. So, but yes, Joe's a really really great cook. We talk about food all the time, and it's not I can't stand up because I have my sweatpants on. I really do.
I should you see that right now? What are you seeing? The dome background?
So my friend David Silverman from LA, he says I don't know. I don't know Eric. Eric is or for many years held the position of programmer for WAER in Syracuse, which is one of the great jazz stations in the country, and the station, like many other stations, is not running jazz programming, which we all sadly know. And if
You ever want to know what I look like as a baby? There it is. It kind of cuts my face off. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
this was a great subject, and you really got me off it.
No, get back on it. Sorry, I'm searching for.
No, I forgot what I was saying. You distracted me, Eric Cohen.
No.
Oh, I was telling a friend from LA
Yes.
who you are and how we met, and so Eric was the jazz DJ at WAER, and he was also nominated Programmer of the Year nationally many times.
Well, I actually wasn't just nominated. I actually won. I won a couple of times.
You won. I didn't even get nominated for anything this year. In fact, David Silverman was one of my friends. He goes, "What? No Grammy for that record?" I said, "Oh."
All right, we're going with this. You and I tested this out last night. I told you that
Must be chicken riggies though, man, because it's a regional thing.
at one of the many,
Regs.
so at one of the many gigs that I emceed at one time, I just saw this platter of riggies. I said it just looked. Nobody had gotten into it yet. I said it just looks so epic, and so I took a picture. And you know what? For the final, what are we at? Final 2 or 3 minutes of the show. I'm going to use chicken riggies as my backdrop, okay?
Those are just regular old rigs, man.
And Donna Piccini, the answer to that question is no for me. I don't know if Nancy.
I'm wearing sweatpants because, and I can't tell you what else I'm wearing. Wait, let me see if you guessed, Donna. I'm wearing something that I haven't worn since the beginning of this.
Hang on.
No, it's an article of female clothing that I have not worn, and I think most women are not interested in wearing it either.
By the way, I don't know how. I don't even know how we got into women's clothing. Did you see what Joe cooked tonight? By the way,
Where is it?
I'll just tell you. The comments are coming fast and furious. Shrimp wrapped in now. Is it prosciutto or prosciutto? How do you say it?
Well, it depends on where you're from, man.
I mean, I'm a Jewish guy from Long Island. I've always said prosciutto.
Yeah, but you're in Syracuse now, man, because you're like in Syracuse now, man. Like you got the thing,
Hey.
You got rigatonis behind you. You're from Syracuse.
So Joe Cortini, shrimp wrapped in prosciutto over homemade pasta with charred broccoli.
Tell Joe to just shut up. I don't want to hear about this. I really don't. My stomach is growling.
Because we're all wearing sweatpants.
No underwear. No, Christine, you were right. Christine, you were right about it. And ladies, do you agree that it's something you just really have enjoyed not having to put on? Come on.
Look,
Is this
George,
a little too much? Look at. I'm embarrassing Eric. I love when I embarrass you.
George. Well, if I read George Rossi's comment right now,
Oh, he's
goodness. Let's-
Oh, George. But isn't this what we wanted? Well, but I do have them confined.
My friend Lori DePeace wants to know if you saw her question. Do you know Lori?
Oh, Lori's a good friend. I've known her for many years. We're Facebook friends. I believe she was originally from Utica. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know she lives down in New York now. What was your question, Lori? I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time like seeing the questions.
Listen, I'm
That's
not.
why you see me turning because I'm looking at. I have two screens in my setup here.
Comments we got, Nance?
What?
135 comments.
Well, that's good, and we can't get to them. I
And we're going to wrap this up in a moment. But I'll read you the question. Lori's question was with the history legacy of Central New York jazz musicians and singers. I'm curious when you began leaning more towards jazz and why.
Oh, we're going to go past 8 with this question. Okay.
It's fine.
Very, very. It's not a complicated answer, and this has so many facets to it. This question. I started out singing. Well, I'm classically trained pianist, so that certifies me as a musician. So I am classically trained pianist. But then the Beatles came out, and I started playing guitar. And then I got in fronting bands that were doing like rock and stuff, and I just I longed for something more sophisticated, and that's what happened. I just wanted something more sophisticated, and I started yearning for more harmonically complex things. Jazz. I was brought up with jazz in my house, like so many of us were. I mean, you were too, Eric, right? I mean, your dad was a great pianist. So that's all. And at some point, it was about 28 years old, I started really getting full in onto jazz, which now, many, many years later, and I still don't know what the F I'm doing.
By the way, you had told me before we did this tonight that the words thong and bra would be appearing in the comment section. I would have thought, what direction did we go in? But
you are my friend, Eric. Are you surprised?
You're revealing quite a bit. Well, no.
What's wrong with that? It's just a piece of clothing.
It's clothing. Yes, Donna, it's been a pleasure meeting you tonight as well. Donna Militello Calandra.
Here's my friend Carla Lillian. She's a DJ herself. She's a DJ down in New York on oh, Carla, help me with the name of it. It starts with a P. Pure Jazz Radio.
Welcome aboard, Carla. Sorry that you're joining us as we're about to kind of wrap things. We still have 30 people after about an hour. Although I guess.
Oh, Eric, you're very interesting, and those rigatonis look so good. Who would leave? I mean, really, who would leave?
By the way, Beth Ann Dice said that she can't post a picture of Joe's masterpiece from the kitchen, but she will later. So.
All right. Well, we will look forward to that.
And by the way, Beth Ann did say earlier, although I have to scroll way up, but Beth Ann did say that we should do a show next Sunday for Mother's Day. So
you think on Mother's Day?
Well, why not for all the moms out there? I mean, it's 7:00 in the evening. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll kind of get
well, let's talk about it, and I need to work some of these things out. I need to figure out how I can see. I keep having to turn my head, and I don't like this. There's got to be a better way to see the feed.
And another comment. Again, we both missed it, but again, I just scrolled up. Donna Piccini. I have to specify
we have a couple Donnas here.
But Donna says, Nancy, now I know why we talked through so much of my voice lesson.
What does that mean? Wait a minute.
That's what Donna Piccini says. I just love talking with you. So
well, that's very sweet.
And Joe, you're welcome for turning you on to. I better finish that sentence. For turning you on to all the awesome B3 masters. People still come up to me and say, Eric, we missed the B3 Bonanza. It was a great.
Oh God, yes.
The Jimmy.
My friend, my dear friend, and former student William Gorman.
Yes.
He got turned on to the whole organ thing when I was putting out the Be That Way organ recording.
Oh.
And he's taken that ball and really run with it. I mean, he's killing it on the organ, man, killing it. I even heard him sing the other day. He was with me for voice lessons, and he sang the other day. I said, "Yeah, William, man, go get it."
one of my dear friends from college just texted me wanting to know how his wife can comment on the feeds. She should be able to just double click, and the chat room is there. And Hannah, I'm sorry if you can't comment this time around, but next time, I promise you can get in there. But he texted me, it popped up on my phone, and said that he really liked the job we did, and he even attached an image of the cover of the Dave Brubeck album that we talked about.
Well, we got lots to talk about, and I think that what we should do, and you can certainly disagree with me if you so choose, but I think we should call it an evening, and prepare to do. I'm going to read over these comments here.
People are wondering. I did make sure that I.
Oh man, how'd you get that, man?
I want to make sure people know that I disinfected the table here, so I'm working from a clean table. Okay. No, this is not a new. I'm running low on these, and I know these are going to be tough.
Oh, I am too. But you could disinfect.
Tony, what's up, buddy? Tony Cimarosi, good guy, Tony Cimarosi. So
let's let everybody know that what we will do.
Yeah, we should wrap.
Wrap it up, and we will try to plan to be a little better organized as far as this. I need to see the feed so that I can comment on people's comments better. So please, I did not ignore you. I'm not able to see it very well.
Well,
what are you looking at it on, Eric?
I'm just looking at the feed. I'm looking at the computer screen. The fact that we had.
Oh, you've got your laptop there. I see.
I have both. Yes. And 153 comments. Jeff Stockham saying, "Great job, guys. This was a lot of fun." Christine Hall Miller, great job.
She's my cousin. Yes.
Cynthia Lewis Johnson, thank you so much. We have a silent voyeur missing Central New York from Raleigh, North Carolina. EJ Sheldon. What are you laughing at?
A friend of mine texted me something that he knows me quite well. No, I actually don't.
and Deborah, I love the comment from Deborah Ford. Great job, you guys. Thank you for doing this and wearing pants. I never said I was wearing pants, Deborah.
Now, wait a minute. I can't bring up a certain article of female clothing, and you're bringing up that you're not wearing pants?
I am not wearing pants, but I am wearing something.
What, do you have a hula skirt on?
I have some mesh shorts on. Do we really need to go? Listen.
We don't. Why don't we both say good evening?
I'm calling a timeout on timeout. I think we've done ourselves justice.
So, no, I don't care about that. I mean, I do care about that, but I would like people to be entertained and have a little break from all this insanity that's going on around us. Something I never thought I'd live through this, but we are surviving, and with the help of some little light humor, like Eric and I can provide for you. And
well, the world has changed, but out of it, there are a lot of good things that are going to come out of this, and this is the first of what hopefully will be many more of these shows. Let's close with.
I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm going to go get another one as we get off of here. Hey, everybody, we love you, and we love that you love us. And we'll see you hopefully next Sunday.
Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Oh.